Taiwan's largest ever military exercises begin, with thousands of reservists called up to take part. What makes this year's drills different? We sit down with defense strategist Alexander Huang to find out. U.S. President Trump hands down a final deadline for tariff negotiations. Plus, a rescue mission in Taipei goes wrong, leaving 2 firefighters dead. Now, their comrades are calling for change. Good evening and welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Eric Gao. Taiwan has started its largest annual military drills, the Han Kuang. It simulates defending against a Chinese invasion. Jaime Ocon explains what we'll see during this year's drills.
The year is 2027, and as China ramps up its threats to take Taiwan by force, many believe an attack is imminent. This is the scenario behind this year's Han Kuang exercises, Taiwan's largest annual military drills, simulating how the country would defend against an all-out attack from China. While the drills have been carried out since the 1980s, this year's iteration is the longest ever, with the duration extended from 5 days to 10.
我的观察是，今年的汉光41号演习最重要的是象征台湾这个军事改革的顺利启动。因为这种 defense reform 最重要其实是一个组织文化。
The drills begin with simulating Chinese gray zone tactics, operations that put pressure on Taiwan but stop short of direct conflict. This includes Chinese Coast Guard ships and military aircraft coming close to the country's borders, as well as disinformation campaigns. These are all meant to put pressure on Taiwan and sow internal division. Taiwan's responding by mobilizing a record 22,000 reservists to practice handling the variety of threats Taiwan might face from China's military or the PLA.
I think that might be China's overall grand strategy, where tear Taiwan apart from the inside and let PLA come in to finish the job. But tearing Taiwan apart from the inside in and by itself is not going to cause Taiwan to surrender to China. The PLA still has to come in.
That's why the second stage of Han Kuang simulates what would happen if those tactics suddenly escalate and turn into an all-out war, with Taiwan conducting coastal defense drills. While Taiwan has practiced how to stop an invasion for decades, many exercises, even apart from Han Kuang, have been criticized for being too scripted, as many soldiers already know how the drills will play out beforehand.
I hear from people when I criticize these types of exercises of cramming everybody shoulder to shoulder for a nice photo op, and they say that's not how we really do it. But another truism in warfare is you practice like you play, you fight like you train. And so if all you've ever been doing, or most of what you've been doing, is training soldiers to just lay there in a static position with a well-known target on a beach so you get a good picture, that's instinctively what they're going to do.
The last component of Han Kuang focuses on an attack further inland, as well as civilian operations. On one of the last days of the drill, the capital of Taipei will undergo a citywide air raid drill, with civilians taking cover and escorted into designated safe zones.
But I would say that if we are in full alert, if people are ready, then we don't need to do all these drills. I think this is our current mission, to know or to introduce to our general public that modern warfare is different from what we have known before.
As Taiwan gets ready for 10 days of war games, the military says that the ultimate goal is not a show of force, but more about seeing what Taiwan is lacking to deter possible conflict in the Taiwan Strait. Andy Xue and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
Now, Taiwan's Han Kuang drills usually draw an angry response from Beijing. To find out what China's been doing on day one of the drills, we go live now to Jaime in our newsroom for a quick update. Jaime, what have we seen come out so far?
Well, nothing so far from China since the exercises officially started on Wednesday morning, but we did get quite a strong statement from China's military on Tuesday night on the eve of the drills. Take a listen to what China's defense ministry had to say.
汉光演习不过是民进党当局虚张声势、自欺欺人的把戏，企图将台湾老百姓绑上台独战车，为一党之私害台毁台。我们正告民进党当局，妄图以武谋独，死路一条。
Now, it's important to remember that China sees Taiwan as part of its own territory and has not renounced the use of force to take Taiwan. Now, usually when Beijing is upset that Taiwan is expressing or asserting its sovereignty, China will send a large number of military aircraft around the country to trigger a response and put pressure on Taiwan. And so far what we've seen 31 Chinese military aircraft around the country, 24 of which flew a bit closer and breached Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. That is not Taiwan's airspace, but the military here does use it as a defensive buffer. So far, it's been a pretty muted response from China, but many people here in Taiwan say that we could get a stronger reaction towards the end of the exercises, which end in about 10 days' time.
Thank you for that update, Jaime. And Jaime will have more on the drills tomorrow. For more from this year's Han Kuang, TaiwanPlus reporter Isabel Wang spoke to Alexander Huang, chair at the Council of Strategic and Wargaming Studies.
So my first question is that this year's Han Kuang exercise, there are a lot of differences, right? And also there are several new weapons coming out in the exercise as well. So what's your take on the differences of this year's exercise?
In the military modernization, we have always said, the state of the military exercises has always been a high-low mix, or a combination of existing system and newly incoming systems. This year, we will witness a extended Han Kuang joint military exercise, extended from 5 days, 4 nights to 10 days, 9 nights. I believe that this is encouraged by our allies, and also is based on our self-awareness about the potential military conflict across the Taiwan Strait. I have been a long advocate for a real-time, more realistic military drills to familiarize our population, that to get used to a possible future difficulties, because Taiwan has been away from a real war for 67 years. So we need to do our own preparation to get people used to a possible future military conflict.
So with the urban resilience training this time, it's more like a bottom-up strategies, right? Do you think the Taiwanese people are, how has it been like? Are they used to this already, or like if the possible invasion happened?
My major takeaway is that our military commanders and decision makers probably needs more practice and education, because they are still more or less stay with a scenario that was 10, 15 years ago, and has not learned too much from the war in Ukraine or Gaza. And so that's why we hosted this tabletop exercise and inviting renowned generals and admirals. And especially we opened to the press. So this is the first time that the Taiwan population can watch a highly sensitive military operational war games, from their own eyes. This is purely a public education exercise, and I think we have achieved that goal.
That was security analyst Alexander Huang, and tune in tomorrow for our conversation with Tony Hu, a former Pentagon official. Again, we will have more on this year's Han Kuang exercise then. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council has blasted China's decision to blacklist 8 Taiwanese entities, saying Beijing is weaponizing commerce. These entities are key players in Taiwan's aerospace, shipbuilding, and defense sectors. China's Commerce Ministry has halted all exports to them, with Beijing's Taiwan Affairs Office accusing them of promoting secessionism. Experts in Taiwan say the move will not have much impact, as these entities have little connection to China. The Defense Ministry here has also weighed in, saying China's move actually aligns with Taiwan's goal of phasing out reliance on the so-called red supply chain. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has ordered the expansion of contact with U.S. officials to ensure critical deliveries of supplies.
Передусім, це стосується протиповітряної оборони, а також всіх інших елементів постачання від Америки. Критичне постачання, від якого залежить порятунок життів наших людей, захист українських міст і сіл.
Zelensky's statement comes after the U.S. Trump administration last week abruptly halted weapons shipments. Trump switched stances on Tuesday, resuming deliveries to Ukraine. Trump also said he is unhappy with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the lack of progress in talks to end the war in Ukraine. U.S. President Trump says there will be no extensions past August 1st for countries targeted by his so-called reciprocal tariffs. It comes after he announced new tariffs on 14 countries on Monday. Izzy Wells has more.
It's been a busy few days at the White House. US President Donald Trump has doubled down on an August 1st deadline for new tariffs announced on Monday. 14 countries, including South Korea and Japan, will be slapped with new levies if they don't reach a deal with the US before then.
The big money will start coming in on August 1st. I think it was made clear today by the letters that were sent out yesterday and today.
Trump also announced his next target for imported metals, copper, a key component in electric vehicles and military equipment, which he says will be hit with a 50% tariff.
We did steel, as you know, they're 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out.
And that's copper.
And we did cars. And now, today, we're doing copper.
But it's not just the copper industry that will be bracing itself. Trump hinted a tariff as high as 200% on imported pharmaceuticals could be coming soon, as well as semiconductors, a big concern for Taiwan. It's still unclear when exact details will come, but Trump says he'll be making several trade-related announcements throughout Wednesday, affecting at least 7 countries. And with world leaders bracing for a hit, the Trump administration has high hopes for how much it'll be raking in.
We will have taken in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariff, the major tariffs not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year.
But there are fears these new announcements could reignite trade tensions between the US and China. Beijing has warned countries about striking deals with the US that cut out China, warning the Trump administration about restoring tariffs on its goods next month. Trump has given them until August 12th to reach a deal and remains positive.
I do want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade deal.
With high-stakes tariffs looming and global markets on edge, the Trump administration is doubling down on its America First trade policy. But as deadlines loom, US-China tensions look set to reignite. Kama Xu and Izzy Wells for TaiwanPlus.
More people have joined a class action lawsuit against Taiwanese chip giant TSMC, alleging discriminatory practices at the company's U.S. plant. The suit now includes over 30 plaintiffs. They say TSMC gave preferential treatment to Taiwanese workers and subjected non-Asian employees to insults and harassment. TSMC opened its fab in the state of Arizona in 2022 with a multi-billion US dollar grant from the Biden-era CHIPS Act. The company has not commented on the lawsuit, but it does say that it believes in a diverse working environment and does not consider race or nationality when hiring or recruiting. Taiwan's exports hit a monthly record of $17 billion in June. That was mainly due to growing global demand for AI and supply chain restructuring. It marks the 20th consecutive month of growth and is up 33% year on year. The surge has caused Taiwan's trade surplus with the U.S. to hit $55 billion in the first half of 2025, surpassing the $36 billion trade surplus with China and Hong Kong for the first time. But experts say huge export figures and the stronger Taiwanese dollar may put pressure on the country as it negotiates tariffs with the U.S. Coming up after the break, Hakka farmers cook up new ways to use an often overlooked crop. Stay tuned.
For more stories from here in Taiwan and around the world, be sure to check out our website at TaiwanPlus.com. Good shot.
In the face of adversity, the power of truth.
A roadmap for a just and open world, charted by the freest country in Asia.
Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
TaiwanPlus News, a voice of freedom in Asia.
Thank you for sharing our passion for food and Taiwan. Veggie Island explores the vibrant world of plant-based cuisine.
Wow, this is amazing.
While Taiwan on the Rocks uncovers the stories and craftsmanship behind every sip.
Have you ever tried Taiwanese beer?
Are you ready to taste even more of Taiwan?
人生的话，你发现说，我们大部分都是爱美的。
我自己少遇见一朵花，我可能就不是这个样子。
开始思考什么叫做一个本土性，
大声的唱出来说我是台湾人。
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Firefighters are demanding reforms after a fatal accident during a rescue mission on Tuesday. But despite a heated protest outside the cabinet offices, officials don't look ready to re-examine the system. John Van Trieste reports.
A trembling firefighter struggles to staple an addition to this banner listing fallen comrades and the places they died. The latest name is Wu Anshuo, age 37. Date of death, Tuesday. The place, a river near Taipei, where his boat flipped while he was trying to rescue a drowning person. In just a few hours, a second firefighter who was with him will also die, their name to be added another time. Here outside the cabinet building, firefighters want not just answers, but change. Ignoring the steady rainfall, they remember Wu. And they say that after years of protesting issues like workplace safety and training, it's time for officials to listen. Their first demand, firefighters should get the same protections most workers enjoy. As public servants, they're not covered by the Occupational Safety and Health Act. And they say this makes an already risky job more dangerous.
它包含的不只是我们就在现场安全管理，我们整个作业环境的认知、装备器材的应用统一化，以及我们人员是否有好好的接受现代化、科学化、符合现代时代潮流的训练制度。
Demand 2, firefighters' training and skills should determine where they're sent. They say Wu Anshuo was highly qualified and he still died on duty. How much more dangerous would his mission have been for someone without his water rescue experience?
这里面有些人像恩硕一样是高级救护员，他在紧急救护的案件中可以给予患者非常高品质的处置，而有些是擅长火灾，再加上城市高空、水域、山难，甚至是车祸等等不同救援的专业。可是这些各领域的人命救援专家，常常因为混编，不是常常是。 所有人都因为混编，而常常被放在错误的救援位置。
They say Wu himself spent much of his time campaigning for exactly these kinds of reforms, especially since 2023, when a factory explosion killed 4 firefighters. Besides giving their demands, they want the government to explain why their safety concerns remain unresolved 2 years on. A cabinet official, flanked by police, has this to say.
针对于昨日新店发生这样的一个不幸事件，我们感到非常的难过跟遗憾。
A glitchy mic cuts her off, but in any case, grief has now turned into anger, and she's soon being shouted down.
什么难过啦？难过有什么用？我们要改革哎！
Suddenly, there's shoving with the police. As the now broken microphone splutters away, there are shouts for Premier Zhou Rongtai, or someone with decision-making power, to come out. But it's a stalemate. And soon, as order returns, the rain-soaked firefighters are left to their thoughts and to comfort one another. Justin Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
It's just been revealed that a 3-year-old rescue dog named Wilson died last month from an accidental fall during a training session. The Hualien County Fire Department said Wednesday that Wilson fell 3 stories from an open sliding door, leading to a safety net connecting 2 buildings. The person responsible for his care has been removed from the job. Wilson was publicly praised for his first rescue mission after last year's April 3rd earthquake that struck eastern Taiwan. The fire department says they plan to set up a memorial.
第一时间，我们林犬有先帮他做CPR 急救，然后但是那时候也是没有反应，然后赶快送医，但是到医院之后也是就宣告不治这样。请宠物礼仪，然后他是建议用水花的方式来处理这样。那之后我们会做一个我们搜救犬的纪念碑。
The Hualien Fire Department has 2 rescue dogs on duty and will look for a replacement for Wilson. The U.S. is looking to ban Chinese nationals and other foreign adversaries from owning U.S. farmland. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is working with state lawmakers on the National Farm Security Action Plan that would prohibit nationals and entities from China and certain other nations from holding or using U.S. farms. Chinese owners account for less than 1% of foreigner-held U.S. farmland, but that does include plots near U.S. military bases and government installations. Lawmakers say the move is needed to maintain U.S. food and national security. Young Taiwanese Hakka farmers and culinary talent from northern Taiwan are teaming up to promote sorghum and other local produce. By getting creative, they're hoping to get by as climate change worsens. Irene Lin has this story.
These tiny brown seeds mixed with white rice are sorghum, a grain that's become popular in rice farms in northern Taiwan. Growing sorghum requires 1/4 to 1/3 of the amount of water as rice. With climate change depleting water reservoirs and Taiwan's population and tech industry increasing demand, there's been a public push to grow more sorghum in recent years. But farmers like Liu Zhenyu in Hsinchu County say it hasn't been an easy shift.
北部的田区都是黏土，但是我们翻好土，只要一场大雨来了，完蛋了，就是黏土吸了水，在10天又不干了，就变烂泥巴，又没办法种。
The challenge doesn't end at planting. Sorghum has a tough husk and takes a long time to cook. That's why it's most commonly distilled into gaoliang liquor. But not everyone can produce or sell alcohol, as Liu's wife Xu Yushan explains.
因为我们不能在网络上 po， 也不能去行销，然后也不能去做任何的宣传，连 FB、IG 什么都不行，因为它有一个那个酒的规范在这样子，对，然后就看，原来它还是个五谷杂粮类，所以就因为这样子就继续往它是五谷杂粮类这个部分去做研发。
Looking to explore other ways of incorporating sorghum into people's daily lives, Xu Yushan used her baking talent, mixing sorghum and regular wheat flour to make delicious bread. She has also partnered with a Hakka chef to add it to traditional dishes.
当初的开发的想法就比较简单，就是我们在小时候在家里的时候吃那个猪油拌饭，就是想念阿嬷的一种味道。里面就是加了一些我们在地的小农的杏鲍菇，到玉米笋、蒜啊，还有油葱。油葱是客家地方的当重要的东西啊。
Xu has also helped promote other produce grown by Hakka farmers. These mandarin oranges are used to make the jam spread on the sorghum bread.
它味道很像柳丁。
对它盖，人家一打开也是像柳丁一样，而且非常多枝。
Farmer Yang Zongfan has been working on improving the soil for mandarin trees since he took over his family's orchard. But typhoons and unpredictable weather often affect harvests. By working with Xu, he says their jam has created new markets for the less popular fruit.
就发现加工品是无限的想象，还有无限的创造，这样觉得很开心。就来到刚回来就觉得很像单打独斗。然后后来认识玉山，还有几个青农，大家一起合作，我觉得大家一起走下去，可以走得更远。对，这样合作模式我觉得很棒。
It's unclear what the future holds for sorghum and these local farmers, but Xu says she hopes her produce can teach more people about this crop.
至少我往前走，看让大家认识高粱，其实它是一个五谷杂粮，然后让大家可以愿意吃它。其实它是我们一个政策之下的一个节水作物，也让大家知道说气候变迁其实当我们没有水的时候，我们当粮食自给自足缺少的时候，其实我们还是必须要供应我们自己基本的，对，所以这件事情会一直往前走，其实有一部分的理念是在这里。
In the face of climatic and economic changes, these Hakka farmers are steering through the challenges, lifting each other up along the way and staying true to the image as a hardy and resourceful people. Klein Wang and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for tuning in this evening to TaiwanPlus News. Visit our website to see more of our news reports and other programs. Before we go, we head over to France, where Taiwanese performers danced in the opening parade of the Festival of Avignon. I'm Eric Gao, and I'll see you back here on What's Up Taiwan.